Do you want to learn the tools and strategies that can propel you to the next level in life? Do you want to understand how to maximize your fullest potential? Since 2001, Empower You has impacted and changed the lives of tens of thousands of people from around the world. And now we bring the life-changing experience to you. So welcome to the Empower You podcast with Brent Williams and Byron Dempsey, the podcast that delves into the ins and outs of the Empower You program and gives you a behind-the-scenes glimpse into what really goes on at these life-changing events.
Welcome back to the Empower You podcast. Today we're going to be talking about one of the pillars. So there's 6 pillars. This is one of them. Did you want to take us through? Jack and I haven't done this one. Jack's done it now, but this is always, this is one of your pillars that wraps around a 30-minute comedy skit or story.
Yeah. So the pillar is certainly one of our favorites, and I'm really excited to be doing this on the podcast because we often say at Empower You, the story is so big and so amazing, there's an argument to be had that it takes the shine away from the actual point we're trying to make.
Yeah.
And so today we have an opportunity to really expand on the point that we're trying to make, and particularly for those of you listening that have attended Empower You before, you'll be super familiar with this story, and maybe this podcast will allow you to unpack the lesson in I suppose the detail that when you brought it to my attention, because I just know this idea so well, it's so familiar to me.
And that's a problem when you've been doing it for 20 years, isn't it? And I think we're going to flip it. So normally you do 30, 40 minutes on a story. It's a lot of fun. It ends the program on a great note and everything. And then you do a few minutes unpacking it, even less sometimes. We're going to flip it. We're going to do a few minutes on the story and 20 minutes unpacking
the lesson. So the story, and I'm actually representing today. So a good friend of mine has a business called Breakfast Shirts, and this is a shirt that's made in honor of this story. That's kind of how famous the story is. And it's funny that the story that I share at Empower You initially was a 30-second comment, and it's now, I think we've clocked it at 35 minutes is the current version of this incarnation.
Yeah,
so
30, 40.
So the elevator pitch of this story is really simple. When I was 16, I got my dream job working at Civic Video. For those who don't know what that is, it's a video store. We used to rent VHS, there's our VHS tapes and then DVDs. And one of the tasks that I had, as all staff members had at a video store, was we would pile the returns on our bench, like, new release, comedy, action, and then we'd have to carry that pile out. Now, I hated doing that. Everyone I work with hated doing it. So one day I asked the question, how can I make this task that I really hate fun? And by asking that question, the answer was, well, I'll make a game of it by seeing how many I can take at a one go and then beating that record. And I won't tell you what the record is, but the record is big.
Yeah.
And
bigger than you think.
The story explains in detail how I achieved this goal. But the fundamental lesson is one of the pillars.
Just to clarify, and the story's true, isn't it?
It's a true story.
Obviously, it's embellished.
But
the majority,
core of it is true. Yeah. There was an Eddie guy. There's this core of the story is true.
There was no sunlight from God shining down.
No, there wasn't. Did I kick a video onto the shelf? Yes, I did that. Yeah. So there's totally a lot of elements, and I always say, what are they? Don't ever let the truth get in the way of a good story. But yes, people do ask me, is that true? The story. You know what? It'd almost be better if it wasn't, because for me to come up with a story that's so of the cup. But so what is pillar number 6? What is this pillar we're talking about? So it's 4 words. If you want to change your results in life, and when we talk about results, we do a wheel of life at Empower You. We talk about if you think of all of your areas, we've got health, finances, school, career, relationships. Passions and hobbies. If you look at each area of your life and you want to improve your results in these areas, you have to ask yourself the question, what determines those results? And what determines your results in life are the actions that you take. So your actions or an inaction determines your results. Now, what determines our actions? Every decision we make in our life is born out of 2 motivations: to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. They're the 2 things that make us do things, to take action, avoid pain or gain pleasure. So it's our feelings that determine our actions, and our actions that determine our results. Now, what determines our feelings? This is the most important point of this whole lesson. It's the one thing that no one else controls except for you. However, your environment, like a sponge soaking up liquid, impacts this. It's our thoughts. It's our thoughts alone that determine our feelings, which then dictate our actions that give us our results. You want to change your life? You want to change your results? You got to change your thoughts. I thought carrying videos was a pain in the ass. I hated doing it. Therefore, it impacted how I felt about the task, which then dictated my actions trying to get out of doing it, which then determined my results, which was something I didn't like doing. I asked the question, how can I make it fun? I'll make a game of it. That dictated how I felt about the task. Now I felt excited to do it because I was constantly beating my record. Not only did I beat my record, I inspired other people that I work with to partake in this challenge.
To clarify, it's the same thing. You're still taking videos from here to here. The job hasn't changed.
Yes.
It's exactly the same.
It's your perception of the job.
Yeah.
It's what I call reframing a situation. When you can reframe the same thing to get the value out of it, that's how you change how you feel about something that dictates your actions and your results.
And it's so important, because you finish that story, then you do that line. But let's just unpack this.
Yeah.
So we've unpacked a little bit there. We'll give you a few more examples, right? And it's all the whole thing. Game is a reflection of life. So it's like, how can you gamify stuff? That's what I'm working on this Gap Year project. We're trying to gamify as much as possible. How do we make this fun? Like Survivor? Let's have tribes. Let's have do all that sort of stuff. So it's the key word that you use is reframe. It's reframing. Example, when I was working a pizza delivery job, and whenever, we were doing crazy stuff. Well, felt like I was doing everything, making the pizzas, taking them out of the oven, then I'd be delivering them, which was the easy part. Then we'd coming back. As soon as we had a second of free time, you make boxes. So you'd sit there and just make boxes. Similar thing. There's normally 2 delivery guys. You'd race each other. See how quickly you can go. It benefits everyone. You're doing the same thing. You just switched your thoughts about the chore or the job, and now you're having a fun time.
It's what's that Netflix show? Mary Kondo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, who does all like the packing in the shells really neatly, which I'm sure everyone got inspired to do for about 5 days, and then went back to old habits. But her line in it is so powerful. Does the thing that you're having right now bring you joy in life?
Yeah.
And what a great mantra to have in everything you're doing in your life. So the point is this, you have a whole lot of things currently in your life you don't like doing. Ask yourself the question, how can you make it fun? How can you find joy in that? I was watching a TikTok just the other day about this guy talking about gratitude. And he said the key to gratitude is going from saying something that you have to do to saying it's something you get to do.
Yeah, I saw that exact TikTok.
You did? Did you?
I did.
I have to take out the trash. I get to take out the trash versus someone who doesn't have the ability to do that. Like it's reframing the way in which you see the world so that it then gives value to you. And that's just taking ownership for your happiness in life. We talk a lot about the huge spikes in anxiety, depression, self-harm. People aren't living happier lives. And a big part of that is the way in which they see their life.
I mean, I just told you about the Joe Rogan episode with the woman from North Korea. And it's like, oh my God, it's unbelievable. I wouldn't even get into it because it's too graphic to talk about on here. But it's unbelievable how horrible their lives are. They're born into this essential prison. They compared it to the only thing they can compare what's happening in North Korea right now is to the Holocaust. That's a comparison they're using.
Wow.
And so it's just like unbelievable. And here we are. Gives you a bit of perspective to understand, okay, I've actually got it quite good. Let's as opposed to looking at the negative, let's look at the positive stuff I have.
Yeah.
Now, it's not as easy as that. I still look at the negative side of things and I go, okay, no, what am I doing? But it just, by listening to this and becoming consciously aware that you can change your thoughts and that can impact your life, hopefully that's enough for you to start doing it.
Totally. I mean, we just mentioned earlier, and whether this stays in the final edit or not, I don't know. But, we talked about how we've got these protests right now, these freedom rallies right across the country because people are fed up with the lockdowns. No one's liking the lockdowns.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone's going there behind closed doors saying, how can we just upset the nation more?
Yeah.
How can we wield our power? I know a lot of people think that, but really we're just in a shitty situation. There's no good outcome. Whatever you do you want to take the vaccine? I want to, I don't want to. Look, no one, if we had the choice, does anyone want to take it? Probably not.
Yeah.
But this is the circumstances that we're in.
Yeah.
We've got to get on with it. But then we have Afghanistan in absolute ruins right now, and we're complaining about having to stay at home.
Yeah, and people are jumping on planes and falling off planes because they're hanging on the side of them. And I don't know when this podcast will be out, when you're listening to it.
Yeah.
But, it's just insane right now. The world feels insane right now.
Yeah. And look, don't get me wrong here. I'm not commenting, in my safe place here. My business is ruined right now. We've been shut down of live events for the last 18 months, been decimated, let go of staff, haven't paid myself a wage. But I understand we're just in a circumstance that we're in and we've got to just get through it. So perspective is a great leveler. But coming back to thoughts, feelings, action, results, which is the core message here. And I will say to anyone listening, If you haven't written those 4 words down, write them down in that order. Thoughts, feelings, actions, results. Because every time you're having a bad thought, recognize how they're going to dictate your feelings. Again, catch yourself. If there's something you love, why do you love it? Ask yourself the question, what is it that I love about this thing and how does that make me feel? We have to take responsibility for our mental health. Let's change that term. I saw some people changing the term from mental health to mental fitness. I like that.
I spoke about that. There's a guy I interviewed, I think he coined the term. He's got a company called Gotcha for Life. He's actually, I think he's like best mates with Hugh Jackman.
Right.
And he started a whole suicide awareness company and for men. And the logic is you sign up to the program and you nominate one person who you've got for life. And so I could be like, Brent, I've got you for life. And you like make it official with them and stuff. And yeah, he calls it mental fitness because it's like, if you want to lose weight, it's not going to happen overnight. Just like your mental health. You're not going to just instantly feel better, but it's going to take you a lot of time. You're going to have to constantly work at it.
This is a term that I'm now going to use all the time now.
Yeah.
At Empower You, we're going to work on your mental fitness.
Yes, I think it's so much better.
That's it, yeah. Mental health has such a negative connotation. And I started to go, well, it's more accepted broadly, but usually when you say, oh, I'm just concerned about my mental health.
It's never good.
It's never good. Yeah. No, you don't go, oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a negative. So I think if you say, I'm working on my mental fitness, that's powerful. I like that association. I think that's good language to use. But yeah, working on your mental fitness is so important and taking that ownership. But yeah, it does come down to your thoughts. And when we talk about thoughts, what we're really saying is, what questions are you asking yourself?
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the quality of the questions we ask ourselves or the lack of quality in those questions that is going to determine our results in life. So you've got to start asking better questions of yourself. And one of the biggest challenges for most people is this. This has taken away our ability to constantly ask questions because now we ask the questions.
Yeah, and then that's the Google effect. This is, these are literal questions, but the Google effect is when you're sitting watching a movie and you're like, who's that actor? And you used to be like, I think they're from Hunger Games. I think, and you have this whole conversation.
You work on it.
That's what it was. Yeah. That's who's that actor.
You'd earn the right to get the answer yourself.
Now you just Google it. Yeah. It's like, oh, that's right. Or even on Amazon Prime, you hit OK and it shows the actor in the scene.
It cheats our ability for critical thinking.
Yeah. And so, and
problem solving.
And they're literal questions. We're more talking about the questions you're asking inside your head about yourself. But that's just a little example. A question on technology you might be asking when you're scrolling through Instagram is subconsciously, why don't I look like him? Why don't I look like her? How come I'm not as successful as them? How are they the same age as me, yet they're so much further ahead in life? Yeah. They're the questions you could be asking yourself, which are negatively affecting your life.
And quality questions can pull you out of a funk. Like if you're feeling crappy, like I do this all the time at our camp. The more advanced, we do advanced courses where there's more what we call processes and cathartic work that really digs a lot deeper. And if someone's really upset and sad, well, why are you feeling upset and sad? Okay, well, what's the cause of that? Okay, and so what would need to happen for you to change that thinking? You can immediately just ask some questions to immediately change your state change. So powerful. I think I said immediately like 4 times then. Quality questions that are going to lead you in the direction of an outcome that you want. So important.
Yeah. So that's thoughts, feelings, actions, results. Write that down, print it out. Maybe we'll give a printable or something. But as you mentioned, if you are having in a depression or do a mental health problem, there's a lot of stuff you can do. You can go to the doctors, you can do better exercise, you can eat better. There's heaps of stuff you can do. One of the things we love to recommend is just start changing your thoughts. In my opinion, it's the easiest thing you can do. You can do it now. And keep in mind, if you change your thoughts one day, you're not going to immediately feel better. You've got to do it consistently for weeks and weeks and weeks and you're slowly going to start to feel better. And it's harder said than done. You can't just change your thoughts. You're going to have to catch yourself. First, I think the first step is to catch yourself when you're saying negative thoughts. Yeah. That's the easiest thing to do. And I still do it. I told you that example when I was hanging upside down and I fell down and I hurt my back and I was just calling myself an idiot over and over again. I was like, that's so stupid. I could have hurt myself. It could have been a lot worse. And I call myself going, oh yeah, what am I doing? I teach this stuff to kids. Yeah. And I'm still doing it. Yeah. So it's super important. Any final thoughts on this section? Did you want to unpack it even further? It's almost hard to articulate this. Yeah. I find it difficult to put into words when we're going into details for it. Yeah.
I just think it's, so many people are ignorant to even this conversation we're having right now. Yeah. I didn't even realize that I was thinking this way or that it's just about taking ownership for everything in your life to grow your circle of influence. And the first thing to taking ownership is to take ownership of your thoughts. If you're not happy with your life, no, that's on you. If you put it on anybody else, then you're a victim to your circumstances. But by taking ownership and asking better questions, it'll start to change your state, your feelings, which will then dictate your actions. feeling without action, you're not going to get anywhere. So you got to do something about it. And like you said, getting out in the sun, exercising, eating better, because as Dee Zabar always says, food equals mood. There's so many simple things we can be doing, like listening to a good podcast every day. There's so many things that we can be feeding.
It's a good way to change your thoughts.
Yep.
Yeah, listen to a good podcast or read a book or something that's, enhancing how you feel and changing your mindset.
Yeah. If you're not happy with how you are in your life and where you're at, ask yourself, what are you spending your time thinking about? Write it down. What are you thinking about every day? Who are you talking to, and what conversations are they having with you? Have you got friends in your life that are totally serving you, that are building you up, that are asking the right questions for you to move forward? Or are they really stagnant, holding you back? Are they victims to their circumstances, always negative? And that self-talk can pollute. Like we said, your thoughts are yours, but it's a sponge soaking up your environment. Yeah. So,
it's the whole thing. Do these people bring me joy?
Yeah.
You can just ask yourself that question to anything.
Yeah.
Like, does this person bring me joy in my life? And we all know those people who are just always negative about something. Oh, the traffic. Whatever it is, they're just always having something negative to say. And people in Australia, we almost bond over it. We're walking and be like, oh, how bad was the traffic? Oh, yeah, mate, it was terrible. Oh, what about the government right now? What's she doing? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Even though it's all valid, the government might be doing crap stuff, but I'm just sick of talking about it.
Oh, look, this week, I got so down at one stage, and I'm sure for everyone, we've gone up and down with this whole COVID thing, because it just feels like there's no end in sight. And again, maybe people watching this, this is old news, but I said, that's it. I can't listen to the news for the next 24 hours.
Oh, for sure.
I don't want to hear about case numbers. I don't want to listen about any protests. I know it's there. This is the thing. I know it's there. Nothing I can do right now is going to change it. I'm going to spend the next 24 hours just at home doing and I literally went in the backyard, did some gardening with my daughter, played some video games. What a difference it made to how I felt.
Yeah, I've noticed the same because my screen time has been shocking during lockdown. Like she's just unmotivated. You're at home. I don't have priorities and stuff. I can just sit and scroll. And like yesterday, I didn't go on my phone at all. And I was just like, I didn't miss out on anything. Everything was still there, and I felt a lot better. I'm just like, I need to remind myself of that. Like,
be more present.
Yeah. And then to bring this point home even further, I just listened to a podcast I listen to every day, and they update with the news because I was like, it's like a 20-minute, it's called the Quickie. They do a 20-minute update on what's happening. I find that's easier than listening to the news. They're a lot nicer. They do 5 minutes of what's happening, and then they do a deep dive. And a deep dive, this one was with a journalist who just quit her job about 3 weeks ago because she couldn't handle it, because she's been doing COVID stories for a year and a half straight. Listening to this woman talk, oh my God, she's just like, every single day of my life, I would wake up and I had to know every number across every state in Australia because I do live crosses with someone in the UK, and they'd be asking about Sydney, and then they'd throw me a question like, what's happening in WA? And I had to know it. I had to know how many people died in WA, or every single state. She had to know everything. It was relentless. They didn't cover any story. They've never covered a story this long for such a long period of time every single day. And it's just
consuming.
Her thoughts were just constantly negative. And it was just repetitive. There's no creativity. She didn't get to be a fun journalist covering stories and stuff. She was just every day, here are the case numbers.
Such a grind.
This person died. This person died. This person died. It's horrible. She just couldn't hack it.
We say 3 ways to change your emotions. The third way, most powerful way, is your focus. And what we focus on becomes our reality. It's why so many police, men and women have PTSD. Is that
PTSD?
Because your whole life is consumed with working around negative people, bad people, doing the wrong thing. So that becomes your reality. You just think this is what it is.
I'm watching Hannibal. Have you heard of that show?
Yes, I have.
It's R18. There's not many shows that are R18, but I've been watching it, and every episode are these horrific murders.
Yeah. And
it's just everyone's depressed in the show.
Yeah.
They comment on it. They're like, how could we be happy when this is what we're surrounded by?
Yeah.
Because the main guy suffers. He has horrible dreams, and it's just the only person who's not is Hannibal, the psychopath.
Yeah.
And it's just well, there you go. There's another example of how just, your environment, like a sponge, or everything we've spoken about, will dictate your thoughts.
So I think in summary, what we're saying with this pillar, for you to change results, look at the actions you're taking. To change your actions, look at what feelings are dictating those actions. And if you want to change your feelings, look at the thoughts that you're having. And if you want to change your thoughts, you'll change your results. And to change your thoughts, you could ask better questions. And the key to asking better questions is your ability to reframe a situation. And what is reframing a situation? Reframing a situation is asking questions enough to change the perspective and meaning on something so it then becomes something that serves you versus being a disservice.
Yep. One more final example to reframing. Let's say you're stuck in traffic. You got to get home by 3 o'clock. You hit 2:50. You're stuck in traffic. Damn it! You can have all these negative thoughts. I'm gonna be late, or you can reframe it. Okay, now I've got an extra 20 minutes. I'll call my grandma. I'll call my mate who I haven't spoken to in a while, and that call could be really valuable to him. He could really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm making stuff up. But you can see, but just by a quick reframe, now I can listen to podcasts. I can finally listen to the episode I've been wanting to listen to for so long.
Yeah.
Are you stuck in traffic, or do you have an extra 20 minutes to yourself?
Yeah.
Reframing.
Yeah, absolutely. Reframe a situation so it serves you, and to do that, ask better questions.
Great. There you go. That is one of the pillars, one of the 6 pillars: thoughts, feelings, actions, results.
There we go.
Thank you for listening to the Empower You podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. For more information on our live events, please head to www.empoweryou.com.au. We look forward to having you join us again for the next episode of the Empower You podcast.